if I needed to, I have a guided install of like, okay, I'm supposed to be clicking on these 4 to identify these probes. I think the final version is going to be, instead of clicking on those probes, it's identifying what kind of plug it is. And then I'll go over to here and know that I have to get out number 8, remove that adapter, I'll add it to my toolbox, I'll click number 10, remove that from my adapter, use the air can on it to make sure it's working, add to toolbox, then I'll grab my probe, I'll open my toolbox, attach the adapters, tighten it down, add that to my toolbox, pull out the unit, do a power check on it, add it over. I can now move in, use that here, and use the probe. Should be, or maybe I can turn it on first and see. I have an issue with this. There we go. And then I'll attach. I can see this image. We have to get updates from them, so we're getting more of a clear understanding of when it is dirty and then when they do the final cleaning to when it is clean. That way it's like you can actually see differences in what you're supposed to be trying to obtain. And I want to have them have that for each different type of plug is not the same image for doing the cleaning. It's more realistic to the type of plug they're doing, not just here's an image.
I see.
We'll do this cleaning. I'm going to take a capture of it, I believe. Capture it here. I've got that image now on there, and we're good there. And then I'm pretty sure I should be grabbing this cleaning tool now. Mistake. Oh, I've got to evaluate the image. I've got it. Add the toolbox as well. Come back over. And that's, again, we're still finishing out because we got to change the adapter that's on there because it's going to be a terminal that attaches to the actual plug itself. That's from Glen Air, and we're getting images from that one still to probe onto it. And then we're updating again what it's supposed to look like because it's still the same image from when it was dirty to when it's clean. But that's what runs through to the end of this to give them that kind of, tactile feel as to what.
We need to get what?
We need to get one more plug from the Glen Air box animated, and that's the plug that actually attaches to the front of the plug itself where you're doing the probe onto it. And then I think that they're still going to model both that adapter, like the box you use, and then this is the one that's more actual fleet accessible. So they're trying to have both of them in there to use because the schoolhouses have all the newest ones and the fleet has the older one. So we're trying to make it so that way, even though we're not trained to the newest one that they've got in the schoolhouse, that way they can just, the sailor can still see some of the older stuff that's still out there, what they might
they're
actually...
familiar with it, they're actually going to be using.
speed there. There we go. So Jacob's going to load up a scenario for you.
Yeah, I got a
So you can see
laser
here
gun.
We've got a F-35. If you use that trigger for me, basically it'll launch a scenario. And you might have seen that you've got a breathing apparatus. You might have had a cage down there.
Yeah, right
So
here.
normally we have a breathing apparatus that we put on the kids' back, so they'll start making runs the back. So you can pull back on the bail all the way. So that's the system
Wow.
doing the work.
Do you get a kick out of it? Like
Yeah.
that's a kickback?
Yeah.
So you can bring your hand forward, you can adjust the pattern.
We can also give you foam as well. So if you open that line back up, go ahead, open that.
Yeah, hey Juan, you actually do feel that.
Can you grab your
Like it wants to pull it out of my hand.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to find out if it actually pulls you back like it normally does.
So if you twist that to the right, it'll narrow up that stream for you.
Yeah. Wow.
You got to do a better job of pointing at the aircraft, though.
Actually fires out. Almost out.
Almost.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I ain't gonna start walking. So if I walk here, will it?
Yeah, so you can physically walk forward, you can crouch. If there's certain compartments,
Okay.
you can actually get underneath the neutral plane.
We can even control the amount of pressure that's in the line, so I can jack it up for you.
There you go.
Back a little bit more.
I like that.
So let me ask you something. So while I'm doing this, can the other students see this on the screen?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
So we're looking
Are you
at
guys
what-
watching
yeah.
me?
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
The other thing is you can pause it too to
Yeah.
ask the class.
Shut the water off for you. So push that valve all the way forward. And if you look to your right,
Look to your right.
you'll have a diagnostic screen.
Ah.
You put all the fire out. It shows you how much water you used, how long it took you, and how much air you would have gone through in your cylinder during that time.
Wow.
Oh, yeah?
We'll do black hole.
Yeah, we can put you in one more here.
It actually is pretty realistic as far as the hose and everything else, the weight of the handle.
Can more than one student handle the hose, or
Yeah, so we can have multi-user. So
Okay.
basically we went to a stage where we have
as a host team?
Yeah.
The other thing too, just in terms of like a backup position, so a backup man, you could have like a second person, maybe not even with the headset on, just standing behind, grabbing the hose and backing
Yeah.
up, just looking at that screen so they see what he's seeing, and their sole job is to help take out resistance, kind of like the backup man's job.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
There we go. Please. And then the second stage is your routine. Squeeze again.
All right.
Sorry, squeeze that trigger again.
All right.
And then release. And then squeeze again. Basically, that's how we move around this virtual world.
Oh, okay.
We can
Instead of
go,
me trying to walk forward.
Yeah, so we can go 30 feet just because of the size of the booth today.
Wow.
So things are starting to go very boldly. I'd start looking at flags and monitors outside.
I know you've seen it before.
Yeah.
So at the moment you've got okay. So we can change suppressants between water and foam.
Can you go ahead and increase the pressure for him a little bit?
I heard that one.
There you go. Yeah. You can still handle yourself. Look at that.
So if you want to move so every time that you squeeze that trigger and release, basically you move to that orientation. The hardest thing that we've got is teaching someone how to use the system. Everything else comes pretty natural.
All we want to do is sit down. What do you want us to say? How do you want to hear?
Wow.
So how do you guys sell it to the
So I can change this to phone?
Yeah, so Jacob is the instructor. At the moment it is foam. He can change the water.
So I'm getting all you guys soaking wet, right?
Yeah. I feel it.
So how can I rotate around so I can get on the outside
So
of the
you turn
plane?
off your water for a second. Bring it back. So if you squeeze and hold that trigger,
Now we have a thermal imaging camera, so that when he puts that up in the
there
front,
we go. in place.
So near zero visibility in the smoke, so now you can come through.
So basically, we just navigate through it. So it's changing rotation. The reason why that little box comes up is so you don't get tangled in that. Because you physically can't see it.
But no, I got one having him pull it all the way back.
This is Jim Collins' house.
That's it.
So it all started with so that's how what we really do.
The SCBA is very realistic.
Yeah,
The shape and
amount of the
yeah.
best we could. And just in terms of actual weight too, because we have a computing unit basically housed in here, and then you have the battery, which is maybe 5 pounds or so. It
Simulates pretty much the weight too, huh?
It's maybe at 15, 20 pounds less than the actual
Okay.
full thing, but close enough to really get you immersed in it.
Yeah. Let me see the SCBA. Turn it around now, Sam. Let me see the SCBA. There you go. That's with the battery pack in there. All right.
Outcomes for certain scenarios. So depending on your skill level, all the different variations.
So, what's the? How many? So I'm not bottlenecking.
And all of those are
class.
fully
yeah.
customized.
So
you can
if I
change
have
them to
a
meet
fire
your
hose
SOPs
team and everything
training,
else, that's
outcomes.
the.
So they're good, not good.
So we can put in our own learning objectives there.
Yeah, 100%.
And
So yeah, basically you can come in, you've got like a guided mode, you've got evaluation, you've got your live ops mode. You select whichever one you want, whichever procedure you want. We'll start with the guided training. So this morning I really spent some time with this stuff in about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I was able to teach myself like 5 different procedures and then pass the evaluations.
Okay.
And it's using this tool, this is using the guided procedure to teach myself, right? So you can either check a step, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll highlight the component and show you that step being completed. You can hit play, and it'll run through the whole procedure, check things off as it goes.
Yeah.
These aren't recordings. These are generated by the engine at runtime, so that if it changes later, we don't have to re-record because they're not recordings, right? They'll automatically update. There's a new step, part changes, something like that. It'll automatically be updated. Say, what is it, W123P1? I don't know what that is. I don't have to go through the tech manual anymore. I can just hit that and it'll highlight it.
okay.
Show me where it is. Once you're done with that, you can go through the same thing, but you want to do an evaluation instead. What we do there is we remove that play button. We remove the check marks, right? We want this to be more like in real life.
Right.
You've got to remember where you're at. You've got to know a bit of what to do. We still give some of this guidance because in theory you'll have access to this.
To the pubs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Maintenance pub.
So we'll still let them do things like this.
Okay.
But we'll also let them attempt to do whatever they want. As long as it's physically possible and it's not dangerous, then we'll allow them to complete that step. So if I try to do this, if I try to remove this component, I can't. It highlights those. It says, well,
Because you got to remove the cannon plug.
yeah, it's physically impossible to remove it without taking those off first.
Okay.
So we can't do that. But I could. Let's see. First step is to disconnect this. I could, if I wanted to, remove those bolts first. They have to come out. And then I can disconnect that. But removing those bolts wasn't until the second step. It really doesn't matter, right? So as long as it's technically correct and it's possible and it's not unsafe, you can still pass a procedure by doing steps out of order.
Okay.
And then we have a built-in LMS here. So you can actually go through and see every single step the student has done.
Okay.
It's all accessible from a single screen. You don't need to log into another
And it'll tell you if
system.
it's an unsafe action that they performed.
It'll show you the unsafe action. So if you've got a procedure that's got, 200 tasks in it,
Yeah.
the instructor's not going to have to look through all of those to see what ones they got wrong. So we just put them up the top. You can also show every step if you want to. These are shown by timestamp, so the order in which the action was performed.
Yeah.
So you can see that this particular student did 0 and then an unsafe action, did first step, then they did step 6.
Yeah.
Right? Why did you go? And then the instructor could say to the student, why did you go from step 1 to step 6?
Right.
Right? And he could explain himself. Maybe he had a really good reason to do that. The instructor still wants to pass it, right? And so it's cognitive training too, right? And that's why we allow them to go and do different steps out of order, allow them to do things that aren't related to the procedure.
Yeah.
Because That way they can see the consequences of what they're doing, and they're able to think about why they're doing things a certain way instead of just going off step 1, step 2, step 3. You fall asleep, you're not paying attention anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They're actually thinking about what they're doing and why they're doing it. And then live ops is pretty much the same as this, except it allows you to check them off as you go.
Okay.
We also have augmented reality capability where if you take a tablet, and I don't have a demo for this unfortunately, but this is only a short one. This isn't the actual demo video for that. But what you have here is someone using a tablet, and they're actually looking at this system, and then this is a video capture.
That's the
of what
VR
they're
option,
doing.
right?
This is the AR option.
AR
augmented reaction. Yeah, augmented reality option. And what you see, it's kind of faint in this one. This is an old version. We've improved this. See, this is highlighted in yellow. That's highlighted in red. That's highlighted in pink. It's hard to see, but they've got little labels there.
Yeah.
And that will tell you the name of the component. Over here, he can touch that on the tablet, and it will direct him to the digital version of the tech hub. It'll tell him what it is. It'll give him removal procedures. It'll show him videos and animations of how to remove that component. And he's just standing there scanning this actual thing. So we have augmented reality options as well. It's a really robust tool.
Yeah, I can check tires. Make sure the judges